So, Ed, as I was saying, I'm considering, well, stopping doing one-on-one journeys because, practically speaking, we could not do this for 500, 5,000, or 10,000 people. Would be enough life left in us in a year. It's not practical. So we're moving more towards the group journeys because the group journeys not only involve meeting people that do secondary and primary implant removals, but we go much further out to the universe, out into the upper realities, because that's where people begin to acquire long forgotten higher faculties of awareness. They begin to acquire and turn back on things that they forgot before they were implanted. So we're going to start doing that. For right now, though, I think until mid-December or so, we're going to do these journeys as promised for Thai people. We're going to do the group journeys, and then we're changing things. That's good, though, because it'll allow people in Thailand, especially as we're doing this translation of this Thai book. We're hoping to start that now, finally, from English to Thai. Very complex, very expensive undertaking for a publisher to do. I'm a publisher and a published author. I have to be a publisher because otherwise these books would not be on Earth. The Emerald Doorway, for instance, has over 30 illustrations of key characters and scenes, very highly detailed, black and white, but you won't find other books on Earth published like this because publishers wouldn't spend the money to do it, hire the artists or anything else. I did this because it was necessary. And so for 6 years, I guided people privately, one-on-one, and in group journeys that were never on the internet. There was no cost or charge. And this has to change to get people involved so they can contribute to their own recovery. That's part of why we're beginning to charge a little bit for this stuff. Because I find that people become more engaged in doing what is required of them, especially at night, sending out a few hues and asking for help from the people we introduce you to. Not much to ask, but I find people will do more for themselves to gain their freedom back this way. So now that that's said, secondary implants and primary implants are not little chips under the skin. They're not in the physical body at all. This is something people on Earth have stumbled over for decades. Classified people in the military in the US and other places created little reverse engineered microscopic little chips and put them in people and tested them on people out of desperation because something was done to them they didn't understand or didn't know how to counter it. So they tried to undo it this way and it failed. Implants are not. The problem with implants is not under the skin or in the nervous system at all. That's number one. Implants cannot be removed on Earth by anybody living on the planet. Earth's atmosphere contains all the negative things, positive too, but everything that's ever been done by people to animals, people to nature, to the ecology, since the world had people coming here for 65 million years, since the dinosaurs were made extinct, is still recorded in Earth's atmosphere. It isn't allowed to go out in space, and it can't actually be recorded in the hue, the omnipresent energy that's out in space. People call the void, or they call outer space that looks black in a space Hubble telescope image. It's only black to human eyes on Earth because human eyes see a very small band of light. Actually, when we're out of our bodies, above the Earth, outside of Earth's atmosphere, to you, it will appear as a white golden light everywhere. And stars and planets and moons and suns and galaxies, little galaxies, float in this vast, immense golden white light. That is the hue. That's what divine spirit is. That's what people pray to. It goes up through the dimensions into the higher worlds beyond the void, known to Buddhist monks, most of them anyway. They aren't generally taught there's something beyond the void because it's like a pale blue light everywhere and doesn't appear to be anything in it, which is kind of true, except it's pure hue. It's a barrier between the lower worlds and the higher realities. This is about a secondary implant removal journey which takes place out in space near Earth, where we meet with friends from other worlds who have never been born on Earth. They do not have subconscious minds and they've never been implanted. So it makes sense that they would be the ones to do this work. Even the body I have, I was forced into this body when it was 3. I came here for another reason. Now I'm beginning to fulfill that mission, that purpose. So since this body grew up here as well, I chose not to do this implant removal myself. I leave that to people who are not influenced by Earth. They cannot be manipulated or controlled or used in any way by people on Earth. They're way beyond that. So I introduce people to them. One of the things I have the ability to do is put my body in the trance state we all call sleep, so that I'm going on the journey consciously with you. That's how I guide people. That's how you hear my voice. But in reality, you and I are talking being to being telepathically. It's a pure form of communication through the hue, the pure hue, which is not nuclear, not atomic. It's all around us, and it cannot be penetrated or perverted or manipulated by negative things in any way, shape, or form. So once I start the recording, we start going into this telepathic way of communicating, which you have and all people have. On Earth, there's not conscious with them anymore. It's more like intuition. Like a young man looking at a pretty woman across the street and says, oh, she's pretty, so she turns around and looks at him. How did she know? That's intuition, they call it, but it's really telepathic. People on Earth are subconsciously afraid, to be honest, to be fully who they are on Earth. There's something happening in them that terrorizes them subconsciously from remembering who they are, where they came from before this life, what they once knew. Because on Earth, everybody on Earth, political leaders and religious leaders, are making decisions every day based on fear, subconsciously motivated fear they don't even yet know they have. So they make decisions based on an artificially created implanted emotion that is not even human. And those are always wrong decisions, and they're always destructive because they're negative. So one of the primary laws of the physical universe comes to play here. Every action creates an equal and opposite reaction in space-time. To get around or above karma and reincarnation and all that stuff, a being needs to remember how to create, how to co-create with the source itself, the source energy, the omnipresent hue, first half of the word human, hidden in plain sight. They need to remember how to do this by utilizing their creative imagination. This is not made up in the brain. The brain has no function to imagine anything. That is wrongly taught on Earth by professors and PhD people, and it's completely wrong. The human brain does not have a motion picture camera somewhere in some brain cells that projects an image on a screen somewhere else. What's going on here is people unconsciously are daydreaming. They imagine going to the store. The body simply follows, where you, the being, the spherical being you are, hovering above that body right now, running it. That is what does the seeing into the other dimensions, into other realities, even to the store. And then the body follows. You run the body from an energy connection from you to the pineal gland in the center of the human brain. That controls the nervous system. That's how beings on Earth run bodies, but they don't remember how they're doing it anymore. They've long forgotten that or afraid to remember it. Many people pray and ask God for this and the Supreme Being for that. And they say they love this omnipresent living force, this source energy, but they're really quite terrified to confront it face to face. Because they think it could be a tyrant God that'll punish them if they look at them the wrong way, or send them to some hell, whatever mankind and tyrant kings made priests tell people to control them in recent 10,000 year history on this planet. It's all nonsense. There is no supreme being up there that ever demanded that we worship it. It does require that we know it and respect it and each other. That is it. Because in the truest sense, divine love is respect for all life, for all beings, including animals. Atmas run animals. This is a very backward planet. I should say the humans on it are very backward. They are not operating on Earth like they once did long ago on other worlds where they lived before they were born here with no memory. This work is about assisting you to begin to co-creatively recover what you were made to forget before you were forced to be born here with no memory or very little. And this requires the dropping of the old bad habit, the addiction really, of fear. It's more than that. It's also implanted programs subconsciously that motivate the nervous system in people to be afraid of two things, the present and the future. And as long as beings do that, what's happening is the Atma begins to see in two opposing ways. Good for themselves and their family, afraid of the present and the future, and the two are opposing forces that ground the energy of creativity into the earth and keep people stuck here. The true formula is to imagine, or really to look into the multiverse, see and know things in the omnipresent hue, which knows all those things, and we just plug into it. That's what makes us appear to be such geniuses or so bright, because we're plugging into this unlimited living energy. There is a source, a prime creator, but it's way above the void known to esoteric groups on Earth. Way above it. And it's no negative nature up there. That void creates a barrier so that none of us can bring anything negative back home where we originated. So these things are left behind, not only with your sleeping body on Earth, turned off, but on the astral, causal, mental, and etheric planes as well, because you're running bodies there as well, even if you don't remember this yet. And you're responsible for them. All emotion comes from the life you're living in the astral plane, next major division up from the physical. And so it feeds emotion, or in that plane, all emotion moves matter. In the physical worlds, effort with bodies and pushing buttons and all that moves matter. As you go up in the planes, different energies move things differently. What we endeavor to do is first, get the secondary implants gone. There are 3 basic ones connected. It's important for you to know what they are, where they're located, so that you have a grounded understanding of creatively participating in the removal of these things. Secondary implants contain torture, death, intimidation, like will kill you, will eat you, will tear your arms off, any of that stuff. But they're not your own experiences. They're artificial and implanted. They're designed to keep what's called the primary implant in place. Once we remove the secondary implants, which is permanent, by the way, and you only need 1 session this way, and then it's done for good. You can never be implanted this way again, because the omnipresent hue, source energy, becomes aware of you and begins to shield you or guide you in a way, with help of many masterful beings, to never cross paths with being implanted again. After that, it becomes our responsibility to co-create, recovering all that we've forgotten in billions of years on many other worlds and other galaxies and other dimensions, so that we can fulfill a requirement. The requirement is this: all Atmas are required, and we created this together long ago, they're required to know the source behind all life, to go back to it and merge with it and meet with it, and to be respectful of all life, which means we have to know all the life that exists on other worlds and other dimensions. This is what leads to real spiritual freedom. This is what creates that. What comes with absolute freedom is absolute responsibility. So we take this split current, positive and negative, in the lower worlds, and we reawaken how to turn them from opposing forces into like the yin and yang symbol. 2 teardrops circling around each other, 2 fishes. with a golden white light around it so that we manifest things good for all life, including ourselves, without creating repercussions in space-time. One of the basic laws of physics, if we put out two opposing forces in our imagination, the omnipresent hue is a co-creator power. It will manifest both in a person's life as a teacher. So if a person's being negative and afraid of the future all the time, like many leaders, political and religious are, they're causing destruction all over the world because they're focusing more negative than positive. And it just manifests what they imagine. So this is something that is important for people to understand. Their imaginative ability, what they call daydreaming, needs to be focused through discipline and understanding to put out only constructive, uplifting things for ourselves and for others. This is not an easy world to fix. It's quite broken. And people on Earth, in mass, all 8 billion, do not have a ghost of a chance in hell, pardon my language, of correcting this before they destroy themselves. So it has to come from outside Earth, from the greater God, from the other beings on other worlds that are far more advanced. They were not willing to intervene in this planet in any way until fairly recently. And it's only because they've intervened to a slight degree that nuclear war has been prevented here. Not by people on Earth. They tried to blow us up a number of times since World War II, and their launch computers were shut down from space. So this work is for their benefit too. Political leaders, religious leaders, every living thing on this planet. It's for all of them, because if they dropped fear, if they were able to be free of subconscious influences, this world would be transformed virtually overnight. It's a tough thing to get people up to a point where you can go on a journey like you're going on now. It takes preparation. The 4 published books are out there. They are actually consciousness expanding interdimensional doorway openers. That's what they are, because the hue moves through them. Ambassador Terrellian works with this and has worked with me on this for quite a number of years. And he is not from Earth. He's human, but not like Earth humans. We get our DNA. The bodies of people on Earth get the DNA twin-stranded from them. This goes back several billion years in their work in creating body forms, human, humanoid, and other forms, that could receive and be directed by higher faculties of the Atma, which is you. You are made of an energy from the source itself, far above the void. It cannot be destroyed or harmed. Implants cannot be put in you, but they can be put in an electromagnetic field of the hue that surrounds you, the outside of the outer layer of the Atma. You actually look like what's on the front cover of the Emerald Doorway book. That is originally created artwork. Of course it's copyrighted, but I had to hire people and work closely with very specific artists to get that as it needed to be put on those books. Actors were actually hired in costume to portray the characters on those books because they are the highest quality of what you'd call science fiction, adventure, and fantasy books, which these really aren't. But that's how they're made. A person will make the artwork, hire actors, and you get these, especially romance novels, you'll get people looking very real on the covers. That's how they're done. So when you look at the front cover of the Emerald Doorway book, you're seeing yourself. That's actually the ancient one, a form that Source or Prime Creator takes, and it's being introduced to the characters on the front cover 100,000 years ago on Earth, before the poles flipped last time and Lemuria was destroyed. There is a Lemuria and Atlantis in a higher parallel dimension that has never been altered, never changed. And we go on journeys, and group journeys, we go to that place. In fact, we're going to go there next time. That just came to me. So what happens is you imagine someone you love and respect, you're grateful they're in your life, person, place, or thing. And this is just something that when you imagine it, it makes you smile inside. That's it. That's all that's required. So simple. What it does is it opens a doorway, one of the many faculty functions of the pineal gland, the center of the brain. And then you, the Atma, has a little energy beam that goes from the white core of your being down into the pineal gland, which is always running, and it begins to make a conscious connection between you running the body and personality of this lifetime, which isn't you. That's part of the physical body, the biological entity. What you are is not DNA, it's not molecules, it's not atoms, it's not time and space, it's not black holes in the universe, it's not gravitational fields or explosions on the sun. It is something made of an energy that is behind and supporting all that. And it goes, that same energy as one power moves all the way up through all the planes right to the source and back, and it's in constant motion. So what we do when we go outside of Earth's atmosphere in a few moments, we plug into that. Ambassador Trullian will bring a higher energy down from Satnam's realm, which is the first realm above the void, and bring a higher form of the you out into the you that surrounds us. Not only are we protected, but it has this kinetic effect on helping people raise their vibration so they can make proper decisions to be free of fear. That's basically it. There's really only one thing all of us ever need to let go of completely and permanently in any life, on any planet, in any dimension, in any body. And that is fear. We do that, the rest falls into place. Just like spreading butter on toast. It's just effortless. So our real purpose for removing the implants is to raise our vibration. It will raise your IQ, your intelligence significantly. It'll give you the ability, by the time you play back this journey a couple of days from now, you'll find that you have this expanded awareness and the ability to understand this. Like, gee, I always knew this. That's what you'll begin to say to yourself. It's really quite amazing. Okay. I'm going to send out the hue in a series of higher tones. And what I'm doing this with Ambassador Trullian. I'm doing this with the master teachers. Even Etta and Din have beautiful vocal cords. They're not human, they're drens. But I love and respect them. I've known Etta and Din for more than 100,000 Earth years. They're master teachers now. So we're good buddies. Make no mistake about that. They know I respect them. I'm going to put out this hue, but they're doing it with me when I do it. You can join silently inside. It'll work just the same. And what this is going to do is put your body further into the trance state we call sleep. You put it there every night like a master anyway. Everybody on earth does. Even the worst murderer knows how to do that. But they don't know how they're doing it or how complex it is to run a body. Because a human body is like a biological machine. And it has genomes on it that are switches, can be turned off or on. If you know that science, you can turn off this problem with the what's called telomeres on the end of the DNA. So when humans on Earth, their cells divide, the telomere shrinks. That's aging. You turn that another way so it won't shrink, people won't age. That would be a serious mistake to do that to 8 billion people on Earth who are procreating out of control with animals and everything. And all that would happen is they would never die and the whole world would end. You see, that's a problem because Earth is overpopulated. It's way out of balance. And there's much that has to be done to correct this. What you're doing now is beginning to co-create in correcting this. Make no mistake about it. You step up to bat. It starts to happen, I don't want to say automatically, it just naturally. Because our true nature as beings is to have this drive, this passion to create new ways of doing things for the benefit of all life and bring that back to the source above the void and download it in what you would call God. Because without us coming back, this universe stays like it is, stagnant and stuck. It doesn't change. The experiment of good and evil is a failed experiment in the entire multiverse. It did not work. Don't blame the devil, don't blame God, because what you are that's hovering above that body was there at the beginning with everyone else as one collective God, let's say, before the lower worlds of time and space were even built. So we're responsible for this. Our biggest responsibility is to return, and people in the lower worlds on Earth have not been returning at all. This begins for the first time to change this in the lower worlds of time and space. This opens doorways. Tirelian, Satnam himself. You could consider Satnam like the supreme being, but it's a supreme being far above what people on Earth worship. And yet that being doesn't require we worship it. In fact, he'd walk away from you if you attempted it. They do require that we respect them. Better to walk as a friend by their side and learn. It's always better this way. The true master teachers, the billions that are out there in the universe and through the higher planes, do not tolerate students worshiping at their feet like they do on Earth, because it's disrespectful and it's not correct. People do that because they realize they're dealing with people who are driven by fear. It's really just another way of control. But it isn't necessary, because such beings that we're going to meet would rather you befriend them. Why not? There's billions, trillions, quintillions of beings out there. Most of them more advanced than people on Earth, including humans from many other world systems. They don't place themselves above us. You don't think they don't know how implanted and perverted people on Earth have been, forced to be here with no memory by the misuse of science, starting 500,000 years ago at the end of a great war here in the galaxy? There are no spacefaring races fighting each other out in our galaxy right now, no matter what anybody tells you. There's no big giant cockroaches coming here in spaceships to blow up our cities like Hollywood paints for entertainment. People on Earth, classified people, have tried to capture and fire at aliens coming here. But they've never, if you hadn't noticed, they've never retaliated, have they? You'd think people on Earth would get the message. Government people very high up have met extraterrestrial beings. They were offered a way to fix this planet at the end of World War II and were turned down out of fear. You get a nuclear bomb for the first time, and then you get these beings coming here that have technology so far beyond that, it scares the pants off you. And so numbers of people have come here in the last 70 years to meet secretly with people to get them to change. So, what was decided? Not on Earth. was that in order for Earth people not to destroy themselves, it's going to be required that they intervene at least to the degree to prevent nuclear war. That means when they try to launch nuclear war, their launch computers are shut down from space. Not exactly something you tell people who you want to be confident in your militaries and governments, now is it? The fact is they've been told or informed they must begin to disclose the truth about their awareness of extraterrestrial life coming here. Over 80 different races so far and more coming. Or it will be done for them without their involvement. That would be very embarrassing for leaders on this planet, religious and political. So it's not the intent of the Galactic Alliance to embarrass people or cause harm. It is the intent that people on Earth grow up, get rid of, be free of these subconscious fearful things, and then Earth can take its place among the stars as an advanced spacefaring planet. The technology would be given to us at no cost or charge. And that's another problem. The beings I will introduce you to in a few minutes, this is all part of it. Don't use money. They don't live like people on Earth. You can't even imagine how differently they live. So we're going to go meet with some of them. Imagine being the spherical being you are. Just daydream it. Everybody knows how to do that. You're hovering near the ceiling where you are in that chair, looking down on your body. That's easy. That's like imagining going to the store. You do that all the time. So now what you're seeing is the body in the trance state we call sleep. That doesn't mean you just stop hearing things outside or a person walks by, or you'll still hear that. Your perceptions are still on, but your eyes are closed because that shuts off all input from the visual world around you, which is mostly negative. And when you do that in this process, this becomes telepathic, and another vision opens up so you can begin to see what I'm sharing with you on this journey. We move through and on this first sound behind all creation. It's hidden in plain sight in the word human. It is not Om. It produces a very pure resonance with the actual sound that's out in space that supports everything, which sounds like rumbling thunder. But it's not frightening, it's soothing. It just sounds kind of like thunder without the lightning. As we go up in the planes, these sounds increase in pitch and in the beauty of how they make us feel. So you look and you see that there is Shantial and Tonaltial standing beside you, right where that chair is. They're showing you 6-foot-tall human bodies, slightly bigger eyes, very beautiful, very clear, than humans on Earth. Long hair to their shoulders, male and female. And above them is hovering this Atma that is the real them. So the body they're showing you is a projection of pure energy like a human body. And you're up near the ceiling looking left and right and you realize they're there. They're also standing down beside your body by the chair. Just so you get an idea. And then you realize you're also projecting a similar body, about 36, perfectly healthy, trim, fit, muscular, toned, handsome, just like they are. Because that's how we show each other, ourselves, as Atmas. That's where the whole human thing came from. First came this form like human, and then the bodies were developed out of the molecules of different planets to resemble this. So then you realize you're showing the same self and something you've always known how to do. But before this session, we're afraid to do it, to know it. What Shantial and Tonaltial are doing is keeping your secondary and primary implants turned off temporarily so you can make this journey and advance and awaken a lot of things you used to know effortlessly. Imagine being now, in fact, find yourself being at 10,000 meters in the atmosphere, and they're still standing beside you. You're still a spherical being with different layers of teardrops all the way through the spectrum of light, meaning all the different planes they match, and a golden white light around it, which is the hue, which composes how you are constructed as an individual. So the individual you is round. Planets and moons and suns and stars are round for a reason. They're round because they're made in the image of their creators, meaning you and all others and the source itself. So when you meet with the source on one of these group journeys, and we'll go there occasionally, you will meet with a representation of it as a spherical entity, very large compared to us. Many more layers of teardrops within it, but the same thing. We are made as individuals of the same exact energy as the source or prime creator itself. You are not now, nor have you ever been, a human body. This is a startling thing for people when they first begin to recover this awareness. It's a fact, it's true. I'm not making this stuff up. I didn't go to any college and university and get a PhD in some super imagination that I could make it up, the little stuff I learned in this life, that I could make this stuff up. No. I went out in the universe and explored with other beings. It comes from my direct experience, and it is the Atma I am that can comprehend this, just like you, not the brain and body of one personality of one life. I can enlighten that body. I can fix it so it'll allow higher faculties to work through it. But it isn't the knower. I am. It's not the brain, it's not the body. Those are temporary. Then suddenly you realize you're in outer space, standing in a circle of beings, right out in outer space. The Earth is in the distance. There's the polar ice caps, the blue-green oceans, mostly blue, land masses, brown mountains, the barren moon, meteor craters. It orbits the planet but does not turn on its axis. That's most abnormal, not normal at all. So that was artificially created to create a problem for people on Earth. It does not rotate. The sun's gravity, the Earth's gravity, the other planets should make it move. It doesn't move at all. This is something no one talks about. Not NASA, not astronauts, not physicists. Today's top physicists, particularly classified ones, know that that area out there they used to call dark matter isn't dark at all. And it's not empty. It doesn't have oxygen for people to breathe, but it's full of another kind of energy. It isn't nuclear. It's not atomic. It's not radioactive. It isn't made of molecules or atoms at all, but it's an energy that supports those things. It is the power, the one living power behind all things. And we are composed of that power as individuals. So we're like little gods amongst a great source. And this is what this work is helping people to recover. Without it, they're not going to advance at all, anywhere. In a billion more lives. This is essential. So the hue is a key. Understanding how it connects to the omnipresent hue. When we go out in space, you're going to be connected to it. So out in space where you are, you can see Ambassador Turellian standing 18 feet tall, showing you a body form that looks to be about 36. Perfectly healthy. Single white gown on, long blonde hair, slightly wavy to his shoulders, big crystal blue eyes, slightly pointed ears like an elf. Looks like a Greek god. He's standing there with two thumbs up with a golden white light around him. And then Pari's off to the left, I'm off to the right. Chantal and Tonaltil are standing right beside you. Now these are pure energy forms that look human. You're dressed, of course, and it's polite and everything. And then Etta and Din are hovering above Ambassador Turellian's head. Master Ramu is towards Earth in the circle. Master Opelum's out towards space in the circle. Satnam's hovering way up high in space. There's an opening to a higher reality. He's just watching things here. Kind of supervising in a way. And then Chantal and Tonaltil point to outer space and you see there's a ship hovering there. And the energy around Ambassador Turellian's thumbs is a white golden light. It's brighter than the white golden light around us. So it's producing a sphere of light around all of us and around this ship. It's 30 feet in diameter, has 3 semispheric pods in the bottom. You can see through the blue-gray metal hull. It has an anti-gravitic blue light around it. And you can see 4 couples in there. 3 are running controls in a semicircular crystalline luminous control console, touching them, touch sensitive. And in the back, in a kind of a lounge, are 2 people apparently sitting down with their chins to their chest asleep. And then you realize Shantial and Tonaltial are standing right beside you. The spherical being they are hovering above them, same as you. And they are the beings that have left their bodies to do this work. Yes, they know the technology of this, but it takes a living Atma beyond the physical body, using technology correctly in order to remove these things. That's how they were implanted in the first place. That was done long before you found yourself born on Earth with little or no memory intact, like everyone else. It's not normal. It's not natural. People think it is, but it isn't. And everyone down deep knows it's not right. So you're looking at Shantial and Tonaltial, and they're pointing up at the Atma you are, and you're looking up with a physical form with eyes made of energy so you can objectively see what's going to take place. And there is a huge electromagnetic field, like the one around the Earth, that goes up the top of the outer layer of the Atma, comes clear around into the bottom, just like that goes around the Earth, identical. And there's one around your body back on Earth in that chair. It's not a thin layer of colors like an aura, like people on Earth think. It's a big electromagnetic field around the body. They're connected. And out in that field of energy, 2/3 of the way out towards the surface of this surrounding electromagnetic field is an oval of white light. There are 3 of them. One is high up, not near the North Pole of the energy above you, but near it. Another one is to the left, down about 2/3 of the way out to the outer surface of this electromagnetic field, below the equator of your being. That's the best way of pronouncing it. And another one to the right. So they're in a triangular pattern. And they're connected through the electromagnetic field, not through the Atma. You cannot be implanted. You are made of an energy that cannot accept, and no outside negative energy can implant anything in the Atma. But they can screw around with the field around you, so that you look through some subconsciously implanted terrorizing thing that says, don't you dare remember who you are, we'll eat you again or we'll kill you. That was what tyrants did to people to stick them on Earth like political prisoners long ago. Until fairly recently, they were still doing it. About 25 years ago, they were still bringing people here and stuffing in a body with no memory. That's all been stopped. No more little grays abduct people. There are no reptilians and underground bases on Earth. They've all been removed outside our solar system, but not by us. People on Earth didn't know how to get rid of them. So as disclosure takes place more on Earth, and it's coming, especially through the United States, there'll be more awareness and things potentially capable for people to grasp things better. They're moving you, Chantal and Tonaltial are moving you over to this implant, secondary implant, down the lower left of this electromagnetic field. So here's you, here's this field, and it's down here, and it's up here. Triangular. They're reaching in with their hands, 2 of them together. These are energy hands that look human. Pulling it out. The energy is smoothing over so it's nice and clear. And then they're putting it up in front of your human-looking energy face so you can see what's in it. Now, this is really you hovering above you, looking at what's in it. Okay, but this body form actually has eyes that are directly a projection from the white core of your being. So you're really seeing it through a form you can recognize. And then you begin to see what's inside this What you're looking at is a group of 15 saucer-shaped craft in triangular formation. These blue anti-gravitic lights around them coming down to land in a huge landing field near a huge dome city. There's 3 golden-sided pyramids with quartz caps in that city. There are 3 suns up in the sky during the day, you can see, because this is a trinary sun system. Scientists on Earth today know that most of the suns and stars out in just our galaxy are binary, meaning 2 suns, one bigger, one smaller, and then planets circle both of those. A trinary has 3, a very big one, a medium-sized one, and usually a smaller one. The effect of 3 suns on humans and other worlds is quite dramatic, and it affects them in different ways than people on Earth have available to them from 1 sun. So that's something that will help you remember. This is a very good experience. And you're getting out of one of those ships and walking through a kind of a triangular walkway inside this city. Others are following you. There are people in the city, all kinds, different people from different worlds. There's a huge golden-colored, glowing lake out in the middle outside this dome. And in the horizon, these blue-green kind of fir trees that are kind of glistening. They're self-luminous. Very different world from Earth. So this is a lifetime that you had. A good one. Nothing wrong with it. But behind it is these images of terror, torture, and death that are hidden into this. So you don't lose this experience, but it's now becoming conscious instead of subconscious. This makes the memory, and it can't affect you in a negative way. Now you're going to see Shantiel and Tonatiel start to spin with their finger this thing around. They're just moving their fingers. They have fun with this, and it disintegrates into the white golden light around us. Now they're moving you over to the right one. There's you, electromagnetic field, down the lower right out in that field is another one of these foot-long oval spheres of white light. She's reaching in, bringing it in front of you, and then he's taking it from her and holding it in front of your face. They're co-creatively involved in this, telepathically. And you look into this second image. You are walking along a beach. And it is a black, sandy, luminous beach. There's a beautiful blue-green wave curling to break on this beach down a long, mile, semicircular beach cove. There's several volcanic islands in the distance. And when you look inland, you can see a number of these domed cities in clearings. And you're just walking along the beach. You got, looks like a wife, a couple of kids, and some pet animals that aren't human, but they're like a cat or a dog, small, furry, cute. And this is sometime in your past. It was not on Earth. And so this is another great lifetime. It was a peaceful one. You didn't have any negative problems, but it's been used against you. So this great memory was pulled, and then this terrorizing thing was put behind it, and it was implanted in a way so you would not be conscious that it's there, because when you attempt to see it, it says, don't touch me, you'll be killed, don't do this, don't go there, we'll kill you again, we'll torture you, that kind of stuff. Here's the thing, they are not your experiences. The ones that are terrorizing, we never bother to look at them because they aren't your experiences in the first place. You don't want them there. Shantiel is now simply moving his hand into the image. And he wiggles his fingers kind of for fun, and it disintegrates. Goes back into the pure hue. Now they're moving you up towards the top one. These are already disconnected. They're no longer functional. This time, they're going to put their hands, one hand each, under each of your hands, and move your hands into this image. And you're going to lift it out of your own energy field, because this is now conscious. And then you're holding it up to look and see what's inside it. You are holding on your finger a beautiful bird about a foot long. It has twin long tail feathers, rainbow colored body. And these are also in the physical universe, but also up through the different dimensions. And big blue eyes, and it has twin sets of wings like a dragonfly, but it's hovering on your finger like a hummingbird. And it's talking with you. Speaking, it has vocal cords. It's a very highly evolved genetic form, and you can see an Atma hovering above it. And you realize you're an Atma hovering above the body, holding the finger out. And you guys are having a great conversation. This was a dear friend, I wouldn't call him a pet, because the beings were mutually respected. And this is a planet that exists out in the galaxy, in the physical universe. So that's a great memory. You're about 16 years old, apparently, as a kid. But this was not a bad life. It's what's behind the good image that we don't want there. So the memories are yours, but the terrorizing part of it, well, since you're holding it, they're going to put their hands in this image, and then they're asking you to send the hue into it. So you do that. And it dissolves into the white golden light around us. Now those 3 secondary implants are unique to you. Nobody else has them. Everyone has different ones. These cannot be implanted in you again by extraterrestrial tyrants or the misuse of technology, because you are an Atma who is now awake. And so, the hue that surrounds us, that comes through Ambassador Trillian's thumbs from Satnam, from that higher reality, this becomes a master teacher. It begins to work with these beings so they'll help you every night when you're out of your body, because everyone leaves their body every night. They've not been trained from childhood by anybody on earth to use higher faculties to bring back awareness of what they're doing. So they don't. Or they're terrorized to bring back those memories, even if they're good ones. Sometimes people have a dream of flying in a physical body and they feel free as a bird. That's on the astral plane, in the pure astral level. There are 144 parallel dimensions in each major division. 144 different Earths on different levels. 144 astral levels, and so forth. Once you get above the void in the upper worlds, everything changes, because there is no matter, energy, space, and time there. It is the pure hue. There's no suns, no moons, no planets, no stars, because they're not needed. Everything that exists there is held in place by beings. And so, you cannot bring any negative nature with you back there. It has to be left behind in the lower worlds of time and space. So that is what the group journeys are for. We go much further. Now that these secondary implants are gone from you, there is the primary one. The primary implant contains your actual death and terror and torture that put you here on Earth. And so it cannot be removed by people on Earth, no matter what they tell you. And if you tried it, it could kill your physical body. Probably would. It's very diabolical. These things are removed by Galactic Alliance personnel and master teachers that observe with them. That's done when you're prepared and you're ready, in a white chair, not on Earth. And it's done by invitation only, and it's done when you're ready to co-create, confronting it. Because then you'll be safe, but you'll be able to see the terror of what happened and make it just a memory. After that, it can't affect you anymore. What's behind that are all your higher faculties that you once knew how to use over billions of years. And back in the beginning, that begins to turn on. These are things that have been dormant for ages. They need exercising. They need a little bit of your own effort involved. Putting out a little hue every night before you go to sleep. Asking for help from these beings you've met. There's Torellian, there's myself, there's Etta and Din, and Master Ramu and Master Opelum, and Shantiel and Tonaltial. Don Tiam and Lam Tiam are here too. They're going to help the next person. 2 couples I've introduced, humans not from Earth. They don't have subconscious minds. They are not manipulated or motivated by the things people care about on Earth. They cannot be controlled. They are way beyond that. So they help because it's a joy for them too. They really get uplifted and they're starting to giggle and laugh and jump around because they know a lot of stuck Q energy has been released through this process for you. You are going to notice that your IQ, your intelligence, is going to go way up. This means you're going to be able to comprehend this journey and then the journeys far beyond because the Atma is awake and it goes way beyond the IQ measuring system on Earth. And you'll be able to comprehend this stuff in a couple of days. Have a cup of tea, turn off your phone, sit in that chair, go on the journey, play it back. You're going to find a lot more happened in this short time of about an hour than you remember now. And you're going to go like, you're going to notice that you're going to say to yourself, yeah, I used to know this stuff. It'll make sense to you. So it becomes your own direct experience. Then you realize you're hovering near the ceiling, up above your body, back on Earth. Shantial and Tonaltial are still standing beside you. There's a white golden light coming down through you. It's coming from Satnam. It's coming from above, the worlds above him. It's coming through Torellian and through us. We're all connected telepathically. And it's moving through the electromagnetic field that surrounds you as an Atma. Those three things are gone. And then it's moving through the electromagnetic field, it's identical to it, that surrounds your body, and they're gone. It's passing through you. It's going into 3 pyramids stationed on Earth now. These are not made of matter, but they're visible to classified people. They can't affect them in any way. 2 on the bottom of Earth's deepest oceans, 1 in a hollowed out interior of a mountain in the Himalayas. And it's moving through fountains that are in those devices out into a bigger pyramid between Mars and Jupiter. Well, yeah, it's out into the asteroid field between 2 stable asteroids, a big golden-sided pyramid with a quartz cap floating there. The classified people know it's there. You can't do anything with it. And it goes through that and then out into pyramids that are stationed between individual stars now in our galaxy. It goes into the white core of the galactic core and up the white golden shaft of light that is the axis of the Milky Way galaxy, and it returns to source. It's moving through you. So as of now, you start to become a co-creator with source energy. You always have been, but this makes it more conscious, more accessible. And when you're ready, open your eyes. You can turn your microphone on, Ed.
Thank you, Scott. It's a wonderful experience for me.
It's the real deal. Those secondary implants are gone forever. And then the primary is still there, and you can be afraid of present or future. But you're going to notice you have the volitional option now to either indulge in it out of habit or just turn away and go do something, go look at a waterfall or a bird. Turn it off. Or send the hue into it and turn it off, and you'll be able to shut it down yourself. That'll get you prepared for when it's removed, which can't be done on Earth. Not yet. Not till Earth has changed. Then they can come and do it for everybody. Meanwhile, there's lots of people like Shantiel and Tonaltial out there that will work with each person at night when they're out of their bodies, especially if they ask first. And they'll help you.
Yes, for
Okay.
sure.
So we're good.
Thank you.
My
ให้
pleasure.
ลงให้ลงสาธารณะได้ไหมคะ
ลงได้เลยครับ
Okay, we can put in YouTube channel.
Okay. Very good. That's good. It'll help other Thai people. It'll help other people. I'm getting calls from people in the States now who are watching my videos and watching these presentations we're putting online now. So they're starting to come out of the woodwork in the United States. I need to promote the short videos I've produced for this work. And Pari and I talked about that. I want to get the book sales up and the numbers up. So a lot more people, it can start to move around the world like it's meant to. So we're all part of this. We're all in this together. It's kind of cool, really. We'll see you later.
Okay. Bye bye. Have a good day, ครับ